Good afternoon or good evening, depending, excuse me, on where you are in Australia. I'm Dante St. James, taking you through Instagram Reels School. Just going to get that screen shared and get us underway. We've got a fair few people joining us tonight from across Australia. We've got the Northern Territory, Queensland, and Western Australia as well. So thank you for joining us. Take a bit of time out of your business to spend some time learning about your business. What I'll do is get this going straight away so we don't lose any time. And if anyone joins in later, that's okay. We're going to be recording this as well. I'll just get the first person on my list. I think we can see that the screen is being shared now. So that was all coming through, making sure I've got the right screen on there. Desktop 2 is the right one. Fantastic. Let's start. First of all, my name's Dante St. James. I'm a Meta lead trainer in Australia and New Zealand, which is what we now call Facebook. Meta is the company that owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, as well as other entities like Facebook Messenger and such. We're also a digital solutions advisor and entrepreneurship facilitator with Business Station. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to kind of show you a little bit of the fun stuff that's going on with Reels. Now, there are some sound parts in this that may not come through on the broadcast, but it's just more about seeing the examples of things that are possible when it comes to Reels. Now, Reels is a fairly new part of Instagram and Facebook as well. And it's about giving you as the creator or the business owner the power to make very entertaining, very fun, very engaging, short format videos. These are not long YouTube style things. These are short, sharp, to the point, and they make them so you're able to very easily share them with Instagram's community, which is a bit more of a fun community, I guess, than the Facebook community, and a bit more of a fun community than what, say, something like Pinterest would be. It's people who are looking to be entertained. Very, very similar to, I guess, the TikTok community. And these are a very similar tool and a very similar expression of creativity as what you'd find on TikTok as well. So you're going to see all sorts of really fun, interactive components on here. We'll take you through what the interface of Reels looks like and how to use it as well. But first, I guess, knowing where the context of Reels sits, it provides this new way to connect in amongst the whole Instagram stage, I suppose. So we're quite used to using the feed on Instagram, and that's the highlights of our business. We're used to using the stories of Instagram, which is the diary of your business. Video tells that deeper story. It used to be called IGTV, but now we just call it Instagram video. And live video, just like on Facebook, is that really in the now stuff, that very, the raw, the right now, the let's do it as a live expression of what's going on in your business right now. So it's you as the brand or you as the front person for your business doing a live video. Reels sits kind of in the middle of all that. The biggest difference about Reels is that it actually is the only placement on Instagram and Facebook that goes far further than what these other things do. To see someone on the, live. Thanks, Andrew. So it's the feed only goes to people who follow you. So you need to be following that person to see in your feed, to see them in there. Same with stories, you have to be following them to see that. Otherwise, other ads can come through. Video's the same. You need to be following someone to see that video in your feed. The live, you need to be following them to see that live video being started and being notified through. Reels is very different. Reels is this never-ending feed of content that isn't just the people that you follow, but it's other people around the world as well. You don't have to follow someone in order to see their reel. And likewise, they don't have to follow you to see your reel, which means the opportunity to be discovered as you're working through Instagram is that you can be discovered by people who otherwise wouldn't see you. So this is the big difference, I suppose, between Reels and other parts of it. When I talk about live video, it was actually live video. There are some tools, third-party tools, that will allow you to pre-record the video and then put it through live. So things like StreamYard, Restream, some of those tools allow you to pre-record it and then do it. And there's another thing called live webinar, which is not a live webinar tool. You can actually record it and it will feed into things like Instagram Live and Facebook Live as well. But that's not what we're talking about here today. We're talking about the unconnected surface of Instagram, which is this Reels area. So it's a place for you to, it's a very entertaining place. Basically, if you're not entertaining people, if you're not getting people really engaged with what you're doing and they're very, very fully engaged and watching it through, then there's kind of no point being on Reels. Now I'm doing a lot of experimenting on Reels myself at the moment, as well as on TikTok, and bringing those same things across and finding some interesting findings actually that the audience are completely different on Reels than what they are on TikTok. Whilst Reels is growing and growing and growing and TikTok's growing, I find that on TikTok it's more, they're less patient. They'll watch less of my videos than what they will on Reels, which tells me then my customer, the person who's going to be more engaged with what I'm doing, is more likely to be on Reels rather than on TikTok. I get around about the same level of engagement and views on Reels as I do on TikTok. So very similar, but very different demographic. And they watch more of my Reels than what they watch of my TikTok. So interesting little things. You might find it a bit different for you. What Reels is all about, and what I'm going to hopefully help you to do here, is to help you to integrate Reels into your existing Instagram strategy. Now, if you haven't got a strategy for Instagram or even a video strategy for any of your social media, this is okay. Reels are actually a pretty good place to start because you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have the perfect thing. You don't have to dance. I'm going to tell you that now. You do not have to dance. You don't have to wear a bikini. You don't have to do any of those things you don't want to have to do. What you just have to do is be real. And that's authenticity is where Reels comes into it. It helps you to connect with people. Let me turn that down. That's probably just feeding back through there. But basically, there's a guy shooting t-shirts out of a t-shirt cannon, and they've done this little snap together thing where as it shoots it at the person, it puts it on. So watch this guy. He's going to shoot it at this guy who's walking past, and suddenly his clothing changes. So they've done this snap and then cut, and then they go to the next scene, which is the guy now wearing that stuff. So same here, as it walks in and starts shooting people with the cannon. Not that I think shooting is a pretty good example, but it's very cleverly put together. What it helps people to do is that it helps people to engage with their interests through entertainment. So this would be people who are, love the silliness, love the action, love the, pranking their friends and all that. And this is giving them a product, which is Chinatown Market as a suits and clothing, gives them something that they can see an interest they have, which is the playfulness of this, and then connect it with a brand. So what you're doing is, rather than just saying, here, buy our t-shirts, they're showcasing their t-shirts by not making t-shirts the star of the get to follow you. So in the case of Sephora, who's a very, very large makeup store brand right around the world, I think you'll probably have them in Perth and in Queensland as well. Don't so much have them in Darwin yet. We only got a Mecca Maxima or whatever it's called. So we've only got the baby version of that. But what it is, it allows you to be found. In this case, Sephora can post this not just as a sponsored post, but as a regular organic post and get found by many more people than would normally find them, because it goes beyond where it is. So that getting discovered thing really helps us to move to other places and reach new audiences we otherwise wouldn't reach. It lets us show a different side of our personality. Sorry for a little bit of mistake there on the rendering of the text, but it allows us to go a little bit more silly and fun rather than just simply presenting a product. So some of the people, like I know with Andrew's got a really cool product, which I really love, which is oh gosh, and now I forgotten the name, it's a best name, and he'll put it in the chat in just a second, which is about helping kids to look with wonder at the great yonder, like looking to the sky. Bling shots, that's what it is. So it's like something you can, so you shoot into the sky and makes you look up. So you just notice, oh, the stars are up there, and it's a toy, but it's also something which inspires people to do more. And I can see so much so much potential for this. It's to light up the sky with bling shots to make people look up, and you get such beautiful pictures and beautiful images and videos of that, and tying it into the personality of the brand, and people sharing their experiences with bling shots, and you being able to produce those into part of what your reels are as well. And the difference with Instagram is that we've always kind of known Insta could be a place where brands, where businesses operate. Facebook was always kind of like we were used to connecting with family and friends, Facebook. And when ads came into it and businesses came into it, we kind of felt really ripped off and shortchanged about it. But Instagram's always been a place for where businesses and brands and products can play really nicely with the world. And people actually like that. It was kind of the rise of the influencer happened on there. And compared to a lot of these other platforms, people surveyed in a global media consumer research survey that was commissioned by Facebook, found that the Instagram was the top place where people expected to and could keep up with their favorite brands. So unlike going to TikTok, where we kind of go, oh, that's so lame when we see see an ad, or that's so annoying because we see so many ads. The commercial content on Insta seems to fit. We're very used to it. 9 to 16 video is basically that full screen. So what we're seeing here is the option to go into full length body shots, where you don't really get that opportunity when you're going in, say the one-to-one video, like the square videos, or this videos landscape, in the landscape, that you don't see that opportunity to go full length and show the full length of an outfit in the lookbook. You can use that full mobile screen to really tell a story that's far more immersive. And who would have thought that the tiny little sort of thin version of seeing a video has actually become the way that most video is viewed outside of television screens now. On mobile screens, we view our video like this. We don't tend to turn our video on the side as much as we used to. So this kind of 9 to 16 ratio, or we might call it portrait video, really is the new way to go. And we see this across Insta, Facebook, we're seeing it in TikTok, we're seeing it even on LinkedIn these days. Most of the video I'm seeing is in this format. It's actually not in the sideways format. So I've got a few Aussie examples for you to have a look at, that you can sort of see how they're doing things. This is Tara Treasures, produces sock puppets for kids to enjoy. A lot of them are sent to kids in hospital who can enjoy the fun of playing with some sock puppets and just putting smiles on kids' faces. And they bring their puppets alive, I guess, just by basically showing off what the puppets look like. And again, because of that 9 to 16 video, you can actually see the whole length of a sock puppet, rather than these sock puppets living in the center of a big wide screen. And you're seeing the example here. Tara Treasures is showing you how you can buy things off Instagram on here too. So you can connect up your Shopify commerce, or your big cartel, or your open cart, or whatever you're using to sell online, connect it up to the Facebook Commerce Manager, which can connect you through to both Facebook shopping and Instagram shopping. So when Tara Treasures goes through here, and I'll just refresh that, they show you pictures of the puppets, and they look so cute. And then you can tag those products, those puppets in there, right there. So you can see the catalog there and go shopping for them. Me personally, I want the sloth. I think the sloth looks absolutely gorgeous, but then the Australian catalog, also pretty cute. So you can not just bring the products to life, but you bring those products to something shoppable. People can buy those things on there. And I think that's a really good connection, because it allows you not to just showcase what you're doing, but lead to a conversion. And that's one of the beautiful things that happens now in Instagram, is all this can be connected through to your actual shop, wherever that happens to be off Instagram. Another one here is Peggy and Twig, who produce absolutely gorgeous stuff in Western New South Wales. Like lots of beautiful, cultured pearl and pebble and stone earrings and different kinds of jewelry. And they're the same thing. They often will, unpack what's been sent to them from the manufacturer or from their workshop, and share that experience. They're sharing the behind the scenes of being to see, okay, we just wrap this up and we're going to now, unpack all these, bring them into our shop so you can see all these wonderful things we've got. And this one, I think, is might be actually packing up a box to send off to one of their retail partners, so their retail partner can sell that in their physical store. So sharing that process boxings and unboxings are incredibly popular across all kind of social media. We've seen one of the biggest, in fact, probably the biggest guy, oh no, probably not the biggest now, probably in the top 10 though, is a kid who just unboxes toys. All the toy companies send him hundreds of toys every year. And his videos are watched by so many kids who want to see what another kid is doing as they're unboxing toys. And this kid's like made a fortune now. He's a multi-millionaire just from basically being sent free toys to open up and have a look at. Wouldn't you love to have had a life like that when you're a little munchkin? We've seen now mobbing around their needs, in this case, how to relieve. She'll show an example of here's something you in yoga and Pilates stretches that will help you to relieve that back pain. The fun side of it is that Biggles, the dog, that's her dog in the background, is joining in the fun as well. So it becomes a really fun, very spontaneous, where she actually sells better with your stretches to get lower back pain dealt with. But what she's doing here is showing her expertise. And sometimes if you've got a service where you're leading to a video or an online store somewhere, having that service allows you to show how good you are at what you do, so that people can go, okay, I've got products. So see down here, there's a view products link. And that's the catalog that she has connected through. So anything that she shows in there, like those, the cushions that are used for providing the support as she's doing her stretches, they're all for sale. She may also have some active wears like yoga pants and tops and stuff available for sale as well. So if that's the case, then you can click on view products and go there. So in your case, if you're selling something physical, you're able to connect through that. So I can't sell services at the moment through that link. It's only physical products, but one day, hopefully, they'll also add on the ability to be able to book consultations and stuff like that. It's really quite cool what different people are doing. So when it comes over to taking over the stage here on Reels, there's sort of some areas we can look at for the basic and intermediate skills you'll need. And this is where we're actually going to go in, and you can pull out your phones and even look at this as we're going along. I might move a little bit too quickly for you to follow along completely, but it will allow you to at least see where these different tools are. So if you're new to Reels, it's going to help you sort of poke around a bit and see what it's like on your phone. So I do encourage you to get your phone, start up Instagram, and let's have a look. In the basics, we're going to look at everything you need to know to really get going. So how to find Reels, how to capture content to work with in Reels. We're going to look at the native tools like the timer, playing with speed, playing with the effects, playing with audio, playing with stop motion as well. And then in the intermediate, we're going to look at some of the, the level up stuff. So we're going to look at Real Talk. We're going to look at remixing, which is often called duets, if you've ever seen that, when people are commenting on other people's stuff. It's a lot of fun. And looking at transitions between videos, how you can make those cool effects that other people are doing as well. Now, not all effects that people are doing on Reels are done within Reels. A lot of this is recorded in other apps like Capwing or CapCut. There's plenty of others. I think Adobe's got one as well, which you can use. Canva now lets you do a lot of this stuff, allows you to sort of jam together video and make it work. So it goes, I could put my hand against the camera and then pull it back and be wearing something different, that sort of thing. All those techniques are able to be done. You don't need to do them necessarily in Reels itself, but you can do it in Reels itself if you feel more comfortable doing it in one app. So for the basics, let's look at, excuse me, where Reels is, how to capture the content, and then how to play with the native tools that are already built in. Now, what you got to do before you do any of these things, and I really encourage you to do it kind of like a storyboard. So imagine you are a producer making television ads for a living, and you've been given a brief from a client who says, I want to achieve this. I want to show this product, followed by this product, followed by this product. And then what I want to see at the end is my logo come up and then have some music playing throughout it that's got all this. Now, someone who makes television ads, and I share office space here with someone who does, they don't just start working. they plan it out. They put together a script, and that script has got certain points along the script where the visuals are mentioned. So what kind of visuals they want at different parts of that video. Working usually with 15 or 60 or 45 or 30-second TV spots and ads. They've got a certain amount of time to fit into. Now, you've got a minute to work with Instagram Reels. That's the most you're going to get. So most things are like 15 to 30 seconds. That sits really well for Reels, but you've got a bit of time to work with. Make a plan. Have your idea. Pick out the music beforehand. So on Instagram Reels, if you've got an Instagram business account, you will not be able to access all the popular music. So you're not going to hear a lot of Justin Bieber in there. You're not going to hear a lot of Dua Lipa or anything like that, because they're not available in the business library. The business music library is restricted only to what we call stock music. So it's royalty-free music that the artists are not trying to make extra money out of for using it there. Unfortunately, Instagram and Facebook don't have the same kind of deal that TikTok does. TikTok they have no such thing. Oh, they do have a business or a professional level of account, but their deal allows them to use that kind of music across every kind. Hopefully that will change in the future. One way you can make a change for it is that you can use what's called a creator account on Instagram. The problem with using a creator account is you can't then connect that to your Facebook through your business suite and use Commerce Manager to sell your products through Facebook and Instagram that way. They need to match, and they need to be both business tools. So it is a bit of a bummer when that's happening. That said, you can probably put music in the background and record it yourself, sing yourself, talk yourself, play music, play your own music if you want to. Copyright music, you're not meant to use it. It'll show you, like when you go looking for songs, it'll bring up songs that are kind of similar. So sometimes I don't really want to use music, and you don't have to use music. As Belinda's just asking now, do you have to use music? No, you don't. You can just use audio. I use a little bit of background music in my Reels and my TikToks that I'm doing now, but it's very, very low level, and it's just to create a consistency between each of the posts that I'm doing. But mostly what it is me talking into my microphone, giving a quick 30 to 60-second tip on something to do with social media. Now, once we've got all that stuff and you've picked what you're going to do in terms of the music or any filter you want to do, like you want to use a face mask filter or a hat filter or something that puts, different clothes on you, pick those out first. Go searching through the app, and then I'll show you where those are very shortly. Do that first before you start recording stuff. Because when you start recording stuff, that's going to be very subjected to the timing you've got to work with the music. So you might want to time it up so it's in time with the music as things change. So go and capture now. Now there's what we call a multi-clip shutter. Just like using the camera on Instagram or on Facebook or even on your phone. Now you can hold down the record button and record that amount of time with you talking or filming something. So what this does, instead of just going, okay, let's record this and then release it and then we have our video, it allows you to record a series of clips. So you can do clip 1 could be me turning to the right. Clip 2 could be turning back to the left again. Clip 3 could be me looking up. Clip 4 could be me looking down. And what you're doing is stitching all that together. So you're able to then have a quick sort of like bang, bang, up, down. And it's just this effect that allows it to seem like it's instantaneous rather than a process of me actually turning around. It's like, I'll be here, then I'll be here, then I'll be up, then I'll be down, and it'll be stitched together that looks really, really cool. So start recording those clips in for your reel. Don't worry if you need to cut them down. You can do this in the edit stage, which is where you capture. After you capture, you trim each one of those clips to make sure, if you want them all to last 1.5 seconds, you can trim each one of them down to 1.5 seconds, or you can kick one of them out and take another one to do a better version of. So when I was turning around, I kind of slipped a little bit, then I wanted to go, I want to get a better version of that. You can re-record that and then move it into the position of your clips in your timeline. So it allows you to do these things. Enhancing is looking things like stickers, text, drawings, scribbles, attaching stickers that have locations and hashtags and mentions, asking questions, doing polls. all that can be added. The same stuff you do on stories, pretty much. You can then add into your reels as well. And then finally, what you want to do, you choose your cover image, because no one wants to get that picture where they're kind of like the eyes half closed and they're kind of in a weird position and look really creepy. They don't want that to be their thumbnail for the video. What they may want is something a bit better. So they might want them smiling, or they want to upload something more professional that they may have done maybe in Canva that looks really cool. Then you add a caption and some hashtags. So hashtags are pretty important in Instagram, as you probably know, just as important in Reels. That helps people to find you in Reels and in the feed. But what we really want to do is share it to Reels in the Explore section. So that'll come up, I'll show you where that is. Or in Stories, you can share your Reels in Stories, but what you really want to do is share your Reels in Explore, because that's going to put you out to the world. And when you share that, that makes you then able to be seen by the world. So we just share to Reels, and that will send it out to the Explore, which is then everybody in the world who's doing Reels. One little hint I'll give you though, whilst there's a lot of people doing Reels, there's very few businesses doing them. And because businesses are not very good at this and they don't feel like they're very confident with doing it. So what this is doing is that the preference is for the Reels that come through to your feed. So as you're seeing, going through the Reels and flipping them up, you're seeing a curated list of what's the most appropriate to you by your location. So there's not a lot of businesses in Australia doing Reels. So you've automatically got the ability to jump in there. It'll be by your interests and what's relevant to you. So if you are in the beauty industry and people who are into beauty and they're within Australia, you will be preferenced generally over things that they're not following in other countries. So there's a really good opportunity here for you to get in front of a lot more people than you normally would. So how do we Reels? First of all, to view Reels is down the bottom. Sort of see me sort of pointing my pointer around it. But what we're going to do is create it. So we're going to tap the plus icon up on the top right, and that accesses the Reels camera. And the accessing Reels camera is just by looking at that create. We go down from post, which is normally what we do, or a story, we go reel. Or if we're going live, we can go live. But at the moment, what we're looking at is picking a reel. So your user interface may slightly vary to this because there is different versions coming out all the time, but generally plus is for anything you want to do on Instagram, then you select reel when the little pop-up that comes up to create. The initial screen you're going to get is going to open the camera and see what's behind you. So what we've done here is just block that out to just black, so that then we can just see what the tools are without sort of any sort of background behind it. So for audio, let's go back and back and back. Nope, back. Sorry, guys. I don't use PowerPoint very often. So when I use PowerPoint, it does things very differently to Canva that I usually use. So in the audio, you can select a song from the Instagram music library to be featured in your reel, but you can't use the Instagram popular music library. You can only use the stock music library in things like ads and in the business posts. Select your length of either 15 or 30 seconds in the length, which is down where you'll see where the little 30 is. You can use the speed, it'll be 1 times, 2 times, speed it up, slow it down, whatever you want to do there. Then you can add effects to there. So you can record any clip you're doing can have that effect over the top of it. So that might be rainbows and unicorns and all that. Can you use your music from a device? No, you cannot load music in, but what you can do is play music in the background. At the moment, they're not kind of cutting out that music. So for instance, if I load up something from TikTok where I've used popular music in there, then I'm in a place where I can use that and repost that onto Instagram without there being too much of a problem. Then you can touch up by using cosmetic filters. So that allows you to, do the face tuning and all that sort of thing. And then you've got a timer that you can use. So if you want to time it to give me 3 seconds before I start recording, if you're doing something a little bit more live, well, then that'll give you a timer to work with. So they're all the tools down on the left-hand side. Your settings up the top with the little gears there. You can then cancel your reel by hitting the X in the top right. That'll allow you to cancel what you're doing so you can go back and work on it more. Now, you can upload videos or still images from your camera roll. Even though you can't upload music from your device, you can upload video and stills. So you might cleverly decide that you'll have your video with the music already playing in the background that you've done on another thing. So you might have added music, say, for instance, on Canva. It may or may not recognize that and blot it out. Usually it won't, because it's not sourced from their own library. So you should be okay with that. So you upload those from that little, from your camera roll, essentially down the bottom left. Then the other option you can do is to create something as you're going. So you can hit the Reels camera, which is the multi-clip shutter button. So I was talking about that before, where you can add a bit and then add another bit and then add another bit. And that allows you to capture little pieces of video. So if you're walking through somewhere, and then you can stitch together those multiple clips that you're picking up there within the reel. So that'll allow you to, you can start to do one, and then you can do another, go to another room, do another, and it's just piling up those different reels in terms of those seconds. And then once you go to the next edit screen, you'll be able to cut those down to be equal size, or do it in such a way that it's maybe not equal, but some are longer, some are shorter. Whatever you need from each one of those little scenes you're capturing will be done through that little multi-clip shutter button. You don't want to say that 10 times in a row quickly. You'd end up saying something rude. Playing with the timer allows you to hold your phone while you film, and capture time. So time-lapse stuff. So we want to go, okay, well, it's going to be about a minute's worth of video that you're capturing, but you may not want a minute's worth of video. You may want just 10 seconds. So it'll take that minute and squeeze it down to 10 seconds. So some good examples you show with these guys, where they show you that timer. So they set down the countdown to 3. So it's going to count it in 3, 2, 1. And then they're ready with an empty bowl. And now they're going to put the eggs in there. So this is taking a bit slower than what they really wanted it to do, because it takes them a while to break these eggs nice and evenly and neatly. So they've done that. Now what they'll do once they use the timer is reduce that timing down from the amount of time it took them to do that, to now go what we see on the left, which is the sped up version of it. 1, 2. Supposed to be sped up. I don't think they've got the right videos in there, but that's supposed to be sped up, so it's much quicker. So it's bang, bang, and it goes in. I think we've all seen videos quite like that one. For a faster time-lapse effect, or to slow down the audio to lip sync it, so if you want to lip sync along with something, this allows you to speed up or slow down. So 1 times, 1.5 times, 1.25 times speed, or 0.5 speed to slow it down. That helps you then to in with the music you're trying to make. So let's just say, for instance, it's like bang, 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 bang is the drums in that song. Actually, when you're able to do that, it just means that when, instead of you recording it just in that single speed that you're doing, they're going to do this in 4 times. So they're recording this in at regular speed, whisking it away, whisk, 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 whisk. Once we've captured that, we want to have that faster. So they're doing that at 4 times speed. On the right here, you'll see it bang, a lot quicker. Since they've done it 4 times faster. So it's done a lot quicker. So you can speed up those piece. You can't hear me, sorry. I think it's when the videos play, they take over my voice. So the just what you were seeing there is stop videos, back. Like I said, I'm not very good at presentations on PowerPoint, because they just really take over everything. So there we go. So it's the on the left, they were recording it at 4 times speed. So they just do the regular whisking of the eggs. And the result of that is that when they play the eggs on the right, it goes a lot quicker. So instead of the slow whisking of the eggs, stupid Microsoft PowerPoint. Let's go back again. Okay, sorry about this, guys. I'm just really struggling with this presentation. It's not working the way it should. So now we'll move on to effects. So a lot of this stuff, I can sort of show you where everything is, but you're ultimately going to come up with your own best ways of putting these things together. There's no right or wrong when it comes to reels. There's just simply what you find that is a cool effect. With these effects, to play with one, you got to find one that fits your subject matter or your vibe or whatever you're trying to do. And you can look through those effects and see what it does. It might color wash it. It might put sparkles all over it. It might do something else, but it'll give you the chance to make the thing work a lot better. So I'm going to go show you an example of using and looking through what some of these effects will look like. So the shake effect you were seeing there essentially is allowing you to create tension. And a lot of people use that one, for instance, when they're feeling excited about something. They'll be going to Disneyland and they might hold up the video, the Reels camera to the castle at Disneyland. They're getting so excited to go there, they just record some video, add effect, and as they're talking, just say, I am so excited, I am so excited. And as they get more excited, that shake happens. So that's what that's used for. See what this looks like in this cooking video. You'll see these effects are very, very commonly made in a lot of chef videos and quick, easy meal videos. So what we've done there is basically, I think they're still doing aligning. So what they've done here is essentially started to work with making this breakfast together. So we look at it and they added a bit more ingredients in there. It's a slow thing. You're doing a slow version of this, but what we want to see is if I click on it, we go to the next bit, which is showing the sped up version. So I think that's similar to something which Belinda was just asking, where she sent reels where images pop onto the screen in sync with the music. So this is exactly what they're doing. They're taking each one of those steps. So they record a little bit, trim it down so it fits in time with the music. So as they're sliding across in time with the music, they're able to make that happen. So some of the most really clever ones that are done are incredible. I do a similar thing on, I wish they bring it to Reels on TikTok, which allows you to just, at the end of, say, what you're doing, you just select sound sync, and sound sync then plays the song and then brings up all the images in time with the music in a kind of a rough way, but it makes sense. But the very best ones you see out there, people spend maybe an hour or two just perfecting that reel, so everything is perfectly popping up when you want it to pop up in the way you're trying to pop it up. When it comes to audio, you can use your own audio recorded video. When they say your own audio, you're not loading audio up. What you're doing is you can use like the audio from another reel in your reel. So that might be a way of getting around it. But in ads, in the reels, you can't use copyrighted music at all. But you can use video from others. You can use video that you can record in yourself. A lot of people get around that just by playing, you've got one phone or a speaker from a music system, and they record that into their phone as they're doing that, then they use that audio. But most video I'm creating that uses audio is with my voice. So I just record the voice in as I'm going with the videos that I'm making. So audio is a bit of a strange one because there is a certain amount of royalty-free music that Facebook and Instagram provide for you. But most people want to use really popular music because that's often how people will search for things. They'll look for things that are using this particular Justin Bieber song or this particular Dua Lipa song or this particular Elvis song if you want to. So that then helps another way for things to be discovered. I wouldn't worry too much about popular music being used. I'd be more concerned with you using what is real for you. So if that's music in the background of the pub that you're going to, where the band's playing it, or that's the talking that you're doing, any of that will be great for you. Now, once we've stitched everything together and got it into a place where we're happy with what we've got and we want to move on, it's now time to choose our cover image. So it's like a thumbnail for the video. So you can take you can upload something, or you can choose a scene from the video that actually is good. You then write your caption. So you add your caption and some hashtags in there. So to categorize what it is you're making. And you say whether you want to share it to Reels at the top there, or whether you want to share it to Stories. Now, I would share to Reels because I think it's easier to discover, but you can also share it to Stories. So share it to Reels first, and then select that you want to share it to your feed at the same time. You can then take that same reel, because it saves your reel, and then do it all again and save it into Stories as well. Stories are not as great a place for Reels, because Stories tend to be in 15-second lots. So the stitching together of each 15 seconds of, say, your 30 or 60-second reel isn't going to be smooth like it is in Reels in the feed on Stories. It's just going to be a little bit jumpy. So I'd probably look at going maybe, go and pop in a 15-second one that goes through to Stories. But if you've got 30 seconds and 60 seconds, maybe stick to just putting it into Reels and sharing it to your feed as well. So look at the basics and how the Reels interface works. Next, let's look at intermediate, which is our Reel Talk, our remix, and our transition. So in Reel Talk, we're talking about the idea of understand that Reels is a very different way of thinking than what we usually do in social media. It's got its own sort of way of doing things. It's got its own aesthetic. It's got its own kind of rules and language, and even a tone of voice. It's all about not being perfect. Okay, so where Instagram's all about being flawless and perfect and having the highlight reel of your life, Reels are more, well, real. They are far more authentic and far less perfect. Now, look, this girl looks absolutely flawless in this particular reel. She looks amazing, but she's also not got it perfect. It's all about humor. It's about people being shameless, people being failing, people falling over, people not actually quite getting there. And I think Andrew's going to have a lot of fun with Reels when he has a bling shot that didn't quite go off the way he thought it would go off, and he has to do it again. Those mistakes would normally be edited out of really good video. The idea of Reels is not to necessarily have good video, it's to be entertaining and engaging, that people will take notice. And people don't just take notice of the perfect, they take notice of the imperfect as well, the things that don't quite work out or aren't quite perfect or are just plain wrong. And that sort of content really works well. In this case, this girl, she's flawless. She's done a lot of backwards stuff here. So she's actually threw away the blanket, threw away all these things. She's not catching them necessarily all the time, but she's stitched together her stuff really, really well. We can relate to her in terms of the fact that she's just wanting to relax for the day. She's got a potato turning into chips. I think it's the best way that potatoes ever should be, is with chips. And she's relatable because she's just like us, wanting to have a bit of a break. Great reels always follow very simple ways of putting them together. You want something that's fast. You want something that's fun. You want something that's attention grabbing, but you don't want something necessarily that's perfect. What we call it is high impact, lo-fi, which means high impact, which is, it gets a lot of attention, but lo-fi means that we haven't had to go through a big, long production process. Steven Spielberg is not going to make a great reel because he'll overthink it. It's got to be kind of unique. It's going to be about you and your voice and your way of doing things. And there is no perfect voice for this. There's no on radio for many years, to be on radio, you had to have the radio voice. Now, that kind of thing, that doesn't exist over here. It's your voice. It's how you present yourself. Being relatable is more important than being perfect. Finding things and that you can master and then recreating that again and again and again, I think it's important. So if you're someone who puts your hand up against the camera, and then you change your clothes and pull back your hand from the camera, if that's your best little effect and transition, do that. If you're the one who has the effect where you drop your phone and then you pick it up and that's a transition that you use, do that. Find the thing that works for you, the thing that you can do again and again and again and again, because what happens is then you'll grow out of that one and you'll try a new technique that will be timed in with the music and the voices. So authentic moments can be like this. This girl was trying to do a thing in a supermarket, doing a reel in the supermarket, and she got video photo bombed. And of course, the result was hilarious. It was a moment that was really cute and really nice and interactive and fun. And these people, you know, they had a bit of fun with their day. So those kind of moments, capture those. These kind of moments where this girl, she's hilarious. She just so loves her food so much that she's not just about the dessert, but that she gets captured basically saying, I am so full, but I've got room for dessert, and here it comes. So it's not perfect. In fact, it was a little bit shaky, the camera work there, but the moment was perfect. It was like, here I am so full, and then comes the donuts, and she looks up at the camera in this seductive way of going, you know, I'm not going to share these, don't you? You know they're not going past everywhere else. I'm eating all of them. So those moments are very real, very authentic. They're very, you know, they're not something which you have to rehearse and practice. They just had their perfect timing because it happened to be when they were capturing it. That idea I was saying about making it easy to create is making use of the filters and the tools that are on there that you can master one at a time. You don't have to be perfect from number one. You can just start mastering each of those little tools or the effects that you're doing just one at a time. So in this case, this is someone who you know, shoots the stuff on mobile, but she connects through the trendy ways of cutting and stitching together all the different parts of her video. Yep, if you can't see it. No, can't make that one work. It's supposed to work, but didn't work. So basically what this video tends to do is basically it's her saying that not everything in life is a sign that something's right or wrong. Sometimes the things are what they are. And she basically goes through saying, you know, just because you're a Pisces doesn't mean that this is going to happen. And then these funny things happen to her, which means that she's just like a Pisces. So she is trying to prove that something's wrong by design. She said, oh, actually, maybe things might have signs and omens about them. In a remix, though, this is where you can take someone else's video and comment on it. So it's like video replies that you used to be doing on YouTube, or what they call duets on TikTok. They call them remixes. So you'll be watching another famous video and you match it up with yours. Now, what it needs you to be able to do is to have remix enabled on the video. So a lot of influencers from famous people will have remixes enabled on their videos. They encourage people to do the responses and the side-by-sides. This could be where you're maybe watching a rocket launch, Andrew, and you want to say, we want to do a Blink Shots launch beside the video of a rocket launch, just as something like, oh, you think that's a rocket? This is a rocket. Or if you're doing something where you're someone's cooking something and you're trying to cook it, you do like a nailed it video where they're cooking, it looks great, and then you doing it, it does not look great at all. Well, that's a fun little remix you can do as well, but you've got to do certain things to do that. In someone else's video, you can go down, it's not recreating. That's a really good question, Belinda. It's not always recreating. Sometimes it's just laughing at it. So you can be seeing these guys dancing and you just want to laugh at them because they're such tossers. Or you can see these guys dancing and you might want to recreate the dance yourself and fall over. Or you see them dancing and you just want to sit there just shaking your head with your eyes rolling because that's the way you want in your pain of it. Now, how you do this, in each reel, you go down to the triple dot thing down there and you click on the triple dot, and then you've got the option to remix this reel if they've made it allowable. So, and he said, reacting to someone's video, then using my product, perfect. That's an amazing way of doing it. So if someone's using your thing, and same with Andrew, if someone's using a Blink Shot, and you can be on the side going, yes, this is awesome. This is exactly what I want to see. It's you encouraging people to use what they're doing. If they've posted about Blink Shots, if they've posted about them using your product, Belinda. So that's got to be allowed in the video that's originally put on there. By default, it's generally on, but people can turn it off if they don't. Some people are really scared of bullying, and rightly so. And I think people might be using it to take the piss out of them. But I generally don't care. So I'll let people remix my reels all the time. I really don't care about it. Now you too have to, well, basically to do it, you find a remixable video. So not all of them are, so they have to be allowed to. Then you go, okay, let's go and pick a video that I want to react to. So the video reaction is her on the left reacting to a video that's on the right. So she captures and edits her video of reacting. Now, in this case, it's the opposite. The person is the video of her just being silly and giggly and getting excited. But what the reaction is, or the remix is someone making a coffee. And so it doesn't make sense with her laughing at this coffee. When you see this, you'll see that it doesn't quite make sense of why she'd be laughing and getting so excited about a percolated coffee, but that's how it works. So let's have a look at how that looks. So she's not actually reacting to what's going on. All that coffee stuff was added afterwards. They just use her as an example of to matching like her reactions to something they're doing. So that was a bit of a creative way of them doing that. So what you do, you find the video you want to remix. If it allows you to remix it, then you record your thing to go beside it. And the same thing happens. You can record little stitched videos that you then slam together and time in together in time with her movements. Or it could be someone who's dancing and you want to do something that matches their dance. Likewise, you can then also allow whether your particular video is remixable. So every video that you put in, you can stipulate whether it is remixable or not remixable. Just let people remix them. A bit of fun. It gives you more. It gives you a lot more discovery points, so people can see more of your stuff for longer. You can also control and adjust the volume for the original audio you're putting in. So for instance, if you want not to hear all that background noise of banging and crashing and voices and music in the background of the scene that you're recording, but you want to then also put on a song that's in Instagram Reels as well, like popular song or that, you can actually adjust which one's louder. So for instance, you can go half and half. You can make the video audio that you just recorded completely blank, whereas you have the music all the way up, or you can have the music all the way down and just have your own audio or just a little bit of music in the background. So you can then adjust the two of them there. So you just, under the audio settings on each of the reels that you're making, you can have that control as well. So audio, to create audio in this case, how to add the voiceover to the remix. They actually do the bit of laughing, so I'm not going to play this one out loud because it messes with the computer and with Zoom. But basically, they've added squeaky sounds that she's making to the parts of the video. So they've put the video audio down and recorded a voiceover over the top of it. Here's how to make a coffee with a mocha pot, and they did it in a silly voice. So it was a fun little remix that involved both of those coming through, and it involved the original video of her reacting to something. The second video was the one where they're making the percolated coffee, and then the third part was recording their own audio over the top of it. So that audio could be you recording music in the background, it could be you making sound effects, like an old Star Wars sound effects person using wobble boards and smashing, crashing and knocking and singing. You can even sing or hum along to that if you want to, or do a voiceover where you're actually narrating what's going on. So we can't hear that. We can't actually hear that, but we can say if you want to remix, again, find something that you want to remix, tap the three-dot menu, select remix this reel. It'll then split you to the left and the right. So you'll be on the right, they'll be on the left. And then once you finish the recording, then tap the microphone icon to allow you to voice over or to sing or to put anything in there you want to, and then adjust it up and down to whether you want the voiceover louder or the music louder. I believe saying seeing reels that look like they come from TikTok, can they be remixed? As long as it's something on Reels, you can remix it. So even if it's come originally from TikTok, you can still remix it. So what you might, that's one way of you getting around copyright music is this, just remix something that's already in TikTok. How do you use audio on remix? Again, looking at the mixing the audio, and adding your voiceover or your own sound or your own original music, if you've got some original music you want to play into it, and then play with those levels to according to what you want. So if you're picking up someone else's TikTok, you would leave the video audio up, but you would not have any music in there or a voiceover, because you want to go in time with the music that they've already got in their remix or in their reels. Hopefully that makes sense. That's a lot of concepts to take in. So a few tips in here. Make sure you enable remix so you can do it. Make it easy. To all the things you do, make sure it's really easy to recreate again and again. So any effects that you do, don't go too hard, too deep. Just do something which is cool. And then you can find some reels and tap on the three-dot menu to remix a reel. Use wired headphones with a microphone to get better audio quality if you're doing a voiceover. Find a lot of people do that. They get the wired headphones and they talk straight into the microphone part of it. And that's their way of making sure that the audio quality is really good. Now, one of the magical parts of Reels is the ability to use what we call transitions. So this girl here does some really good examples of what transitions look like, and it's doing things like so that's examples of how you can use just simple movements to cut and then add the next scene in. So the camera one, which is usually just you're recording along, then you put your hand in front of the camera and then you step away, do the change or close, and then you record the second scene as hand already on the camera and then pull back. And that gives that magical effect of you having somehow put your hand in there and instantly change. The snap is the same. You start the snap, you go at the point of the snap, and then you cut it at the point of the snap. And then you get the part where you keep the hand where it was when you snapped, and then change all your clothes, come back, get the hand matched up, and then move it back after you snapped, and you will have instantly changed clothes as you're snapping. So there's a really, really cool ones in there. I think they look really, zooming is a great example of that blender. You're exactly right. I like the dropping the phone version where you drop they drop the phone and then they do something which as they pick up the phone, pick it up and then they drop it again and then change the scene again, drop it again. And I've seen it done really well with travel where people are moving around different places they've been to. So really cool. If you use these, cover the camera is probably the most common one. Clapping and finger snapping are also really popular. The hair flip's kind of cool. Unfortunately, I don't quite have enough hair to be flipping, so I won't be trying that one anytime soon. So I guess this is where we go. Have you got any questions you'd like to ask in there about Reels and what you're doing with it? Everyone has access to it now, so it's open to everyone on Instagram and it's becoming more available on Facebook as well. Where are we with drones that follow you around intelligently? Well, that's just part of you capturing. So if you record stuff from a drone that follows you around and you import that into Reels, you can use any kind of video you like. So however you capture, you don't have to capture video using Reels itself. You can bring in that stuff to your phone camera gallery, and then you can just use whatever you want and import however you like. So that could be a really cool way of getting some great effects. And it could be like, I know a lot of drone footage makes its way onto Reels. So yeah, definitely feel free. However you want to capture, you capture however you want. Just make sure it's something you can easily load into your phone. Advertising should be minimal, more about life. Oh, I don't know about that. It depends on what you're doing. So it can be like, you can be doing product demos, for instance. So if you've got, let's say, skincare, that's like, here's my skincare. And then suddenly the skin, it might be like a face mask and you go snap and it's all over your face. And you're going, I love this one because it's really tingly and minty and mentholy. And then you snap and it's washed off. And then you go snap and get really close and go, see, no pause. So that kind of thing is really kind of cool. I think it's a lot of fun. Andrew, that's probably not relevant for this particular session. Sorry about that. Creator accounts and how to use Canva. They're things I can put for future lessons maybe. Not really relevant for this particular lesson though. Guys, I'm going to pack up now. It's just about full time. Thank you so much for spending some time again learning about your business and spending some time out of your life to do that. I love doing these kind of things, so I think they're a really good way to learn more about
how to use these tools. And remember to, if you need a one-to-one with someone to spend time with you, I'm not the only person in the network who knows how to use Reels. You've got Kaja McNaught, you've got Sarah Thompson, who's great with Reels. You've got Renee Dembowski, Nikki Jerd, tons of people who know how to do that. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great night. I'm off to eat some pizza because I need to have more calories in my life. Have a great night. See you later.